after speaking to one of my most beloved sisters in Montreal. She's Haitian. She's a Hebrew Israelite sister with a beautiful spirit. One of my most treasured sisters in the earth. She's going through some things, and we can speak openly about it. I'm not giving her name. Through some breast cancer, and her concern was because her breasts are her assets, and all women have assets. We're grown people. We should talk about this. I just made a post. It may be offensive to a lot of you, and I'm gonna read it to you. Hold up. We grown. It's just plain. Me and my brother Demetrius was talking, and when I said this, we were laughing because he's like, "Man, I'm about to post that." He's like, "I'm gonna beat you to it." But check it out. We were talking about women and how our women of all women here in the States needs to get in line and start keeping the commandments. It's not only healthier for the nation as a whole, it's healthier for them because a woman was made for man and the purposes of it. Having a husband not only extends the woman's life, it extends the man's life as well because Yahuwah made out of us a woman and for our purposes. Anyhow, this is how it was worded. I talked to my brothers playing it. I said, shoes don't mean shit if it ain't a motherfucker wearing them. I say the same thing with a woman's pussy. That it's the same thing. As harsh as it may sound, it's very true. And I said that to say this. All women, our women are very beautiful outwardly, but that's just physical appearances. Every woman has her asset. Some women's asset may be their face. Some may be their skin complexion. Some may be their boobs. You know, I've seen a lot of boobs in my life. I know a lot of women. I know maybe 3 women whose boobs, I say, wow, she's got beautiful boobs. Some women have nice asses. Some women have a mixture of all 3. And we ain't got to be embarrassed about this. There's music about it. The girls, I like the girls. Yahuwah designed women for our purposes. However, despite all the physical attributes, the spirit is more important. How teachable are you? How humble are you? Can you submit? Can you bring a man peace and not contend with him? That will get you wifed for life. Okay? No man wants a woman that he's got to argue and contend with. Then he turn around and see you go to work for the enemy and whatever Satan's children, them damn devils tell me, you'll jump right to it. That's a demonic deception that has been instilled in our women over here. You think you're independent, and to be honest with you, you're not protected. Your husband is not just your pastor, he's your leader, he's your protector, he's your boss, he's your master. The word husband in Hebrew, Baal, literally means master or Lord. And you're supposed to reverence your husband even as if he was the Messiah himself. Now, getting back to what I was saying, sexually, it was never a sin for a man to have more than one wife. It's written in the law. He said, and if a man takes unto him another wife, he shall not diminish the previous wife's food, raiment, and duty of marriage is all that's required. That means he provide for her eating, her clothing, because a woman is meant for beauty. And duty of marriage is obvious. You know, you not to diminish laying with her, because the purpose of laying with your wife is to bring forth life. And not just that, it's also meant to relieve and ease, take off a man's stress. But the woman was designed and made for the man. And yes, sexual intercourse is what consummates a marriage. Adam was the first to prophesy about that when he said, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. That one flesh is the act of sexual intercourse. Then I think it's Deuteronomy 21:13, I believe, where Yahuwah said, when we went to war and we might have saw a damsel, which is a virgin, a maid, a young virgin that we had an eye for, and we took her captive. He said, she shall cut her hair and pare her nails and mourn the loss of her parent for a full month, 1 month. And then you shall go in unto her. That means go into the bedchamber and lay with her, and she shall be thy wife. If Yahuwah said, that's all it takes. They ain't got nothing to do with no rings and marriage licenses and all that stuff. You don't need permission by this wicked land to get married. Okay? That being said, not being the true children of Israel, not living and abiding according to the laws of our God, Yahuwah, has brought disorder in the family. Like he says, as for my people, children are their oppressors and women rule over them. That's backwards. That's ass backwards. And I'm praying that you women get in line. You don't like the fact that a man can have more than one wife. It's always been that way. Outside children, as they like to say, and mistresses that you don't learn about until the husband passes. But that's not the way it's supposed to be done. The wife should know about that other woman. King David had many wives, and Yahuwah himself said, I have given your master's wife into your bosom. And if you wanted to, he said, I would have delivered more women to you. So that's a gift of Yahuwah. King David had multiple wives. So if you speak against it, you speak against almost all the righteous in Scripture. That being said, many of you out here just living in wicked adulterous relationships as anyway. A lot of your marriages ain't even marriages. You're living in an adulterous relationship. And women have a lot of nerve. A lot of you got multiple babies by multiple babies' fathers. That's an abomination. The man you with now is not your true husband because you're ignorant of the law of Yahuwah. And your fake ass pastor ain't telling you these things. The first man that took your virginity is lawfully your husband. Now, the only person that can disannul that is your father. Say, for instance, if a man took my daughter's virginity and I didn't know about it, he's supposed to come to me and offer me money for my wife. And if I see something in him that I don't like this nigga. He's too worldly. He's he's overly sexually pervert. I don't have to give my daughter to him. And he would owe me money anyway. That's how that works. The power of marriage and divorce is an exclusive power Yahuwah given into the hand of man and man alone. I don't care if you like it or not. I don't care if you agree or not. It is what it is, and it ain't going to change. Satan's children have taught you otherwise, and you can risk your life or your soul, putting your faith into them. And I wouldn't do it, but you've been warned. So getting back to that, I also have a friend, I don't want to give her name as well, that I knew that also had breast cancer. And she had both of her breasts removed. She had implants. I had my hands on them. I mean, they felt good enough for me. It was a little odd at first, but that's not everything with every man. I'm not a breast man anyway, but for what it's worth, her personality was pretty nice, and that's, every man is attracted to a different thing. Just like some men like certain things for dinner and certain things, that's the spice of life and the beauty of life. Every woman has her form of beauty, some more than others. It's a blessing, can be a curse as well. But it's the man that defines a woman's beauty, not the women. We're the ones who are buying. You're the product. Women are property, owned by men because you come from men. And what I like, another man may not like. That's the beauty of it. However, your beauty was designed only for one man. And I'm warning men also. That's why you're not supposed to look upon another man's wife and lust out or covet. That's breaking the 10th commandment. Because her beauty belongs to that man. There's enough women out here because women are born at a rate way more than 20, like 7, like really more like 10 or 13 to 1. And that's not by accident. It's by design. And a man putting a seed into multiple pots and having children is the way Yahuwah designed things. A lot of men putting the same seed in a pot is an abomination, and that's what we see amongst our women. So you women need to get in line. Your body is sacred, and it's meant to be given unto one man. If you've already sinned, hear the truth, repent, and don't be out there an adulteress or a harlot. And men ought not to be out there being whoremongers and committing adultery. That's why His Majesty said, this is a wicked and what? Adulterous generation. If we start doing things right and keeping the commandments, the curses will not cling to us. But we're still out here calling it cheating when it ain't cheating. It's adultery. We make jokes about it, but it ain't funny. And when you look back over your past, in the eyes and the lens of the truth and the commandments, you'll be able to find out who is truly a wife, who is truly a concubine, and who still belongs to you. I looked back over my life, and there was a handful of women that I was with that were truly, they when I got with them, they were a widow. So they would be like a wife to me. And some women, many women have committed adultery from up under a man. We know the penalty for that. That's really death. But in this day, the judgment is being, what is it called? It's being not dismissed, prolonged until he returns. I can't think of the word for it. Set aside for a while. So if you understand these things, men, you're supposed to vet women. You're supposed to ask questions. If I'm interested in a woman, I'll ask them, about their past. Some women voluntarily. I'm a widow, and I, you have to go a little further knowing the truth. And it's a lot better when you have a wife that you can lawfully lay with, not one that you're committing adultery with. Even if a man divorces his wife, you ain't supposed to lay. That's still adultery. A divorced woman can't remarry. You lay with a woman that's put away a divorce, His Majesty himself say you commit adultery. So you need to ask questions. There's only two type of women that we can get with. Virgins, very few of those, and you're supposed to ask for permission for her father. And we have a right to entice virgins. That's for another subject, Men entice using different tactics. One man's enticement ain't another's. Or widows. A lawful widow is a woman whose lawful husband has passed away and she hasn't laid with another man. The first man she lays with after her widowhood will be a husband. It's her husband. That's how that works. I wanted to have this conversation because Kevin Samuels didn't address those things. Stacey Prince doesn't adjust them. They ain't nothing but just YouTubers and content creators. If you're not coming from the word of Yahuwah, us being the children of Israel, your podcast and your post don't mean shit. Because this is a proven ground to where you're going to spend eternity. And yes, the millennial reign, there's going to be children born. Yes, there's going to be wives had and a righteous seed brought forth. A lot of folks don't know that. I believe it's in Ezekiel chapter 36. Most folks going to stay in the grave for the first 1,000 years. See, there's two resurrections. I pray I make it to the first one. That's when the elect are raised up from Adam, all the righteous, the prophets, Abraham, Ezekiel, all the prophets, 144,000. And they will reign 1,000 years with Yahuwah in the kingdom. After that, the second resurrection, when the rest of the dead are raised up. And then the books are going to be open and they will be judged. So that's how it worked. The first resurrection, everybody ain't coming out of them graves. And many of the elect, thrones will be set up. And the elect will judge angels, not just fallen angels, but these presidents, Bush, Obama ain't, he's a whatever, Kenyan. Yeah, we will be judging devils, fallen angels, demons, all of that. So how much more we can speak on things of this life because we are the natural branches. So I wanted to make this video. Yeah, women, it's not all about, some women have beautiful eyes, some women have beautiful voices, but the most righteous attribute is how teachable you are, how good you are at being quiet, humble, and listen and take some instructions. A man cannot protect a woman if she can't listen. If a war comes down and he tells you to do this and do that and you don't do it, he can't protect you. And a man doesn't want that because a man protects that which he loves. Jealousy is not a bad spirit. Yahuwah is jealous. Jealousy is a protective, it's a spirit that's given unto man. It's different from envy. Jealousy is a spirit that's willing to protect, die for, and fight for that which is yours, a possession of yours. It's a guarding spirit that guards fiercely. Okay? And it's something that you don't want to share your possession with. Envy is a whole different thing. Envy is a bad spirit. You desire something that belongs to someone else. So I made a video about that. So this video is already at 15 minutes. I like to keep them short. And I just wanted to say that women, stop with all the stupid looking big ass eyelashes and all the makeup. If you have to do that to look, you're a seductress, and it don't work. Even makeup was an art that was taught by the fallen angels, and it was a repudiated as sin. Stop putting on all the makeup. It keeps women humble, not wearing makeup. Natural beauty is best. The less makeup, the better. It keeps you humble, and not all the little braids to make yourself look like some kind of princess or a crown. And even Jezebel wore her hair tied up. And Hebrew Israelite women are the worst ones out there. They think they're righteous, and they more like Jezebel than women in the church. So that being said, yes, keep it simple. Simple with the makeup. You ain't supposed to show your shape off and all the man's assets, because those are things that are meant only for his eyes. Just like I have several cars out there. I like certain things about this car, and over that, it's the same with wives. This wife I might be attracted to this about her and this about her. But the best thing is a woman's spirit. Ruth was taught by Naomi to catch Boaz's eye by being obedient and listening to his instructions. When he said, stay in this field and don't eat in that other field, she listened to him. She didn't argue with him. She wasn't half naked and dressing to trying to entice him with her body. It was only at the last minute, after Boaz had finished working in the threshing floor, feet was stinking, and they went to bed. Naomi said, now I'm going to put on your best attire and lay at his feet. She laid at his feet in her best attire. And that's when Boaz rose up and decided to make her a wife, because he saw her obedience, and then she privately laid quietly at his feet, even though his feet were probably stinking after working on the threshing floor. But he saved her life. That's the reason why Ruth and Naomi returned to the men of Israel. There was a famine in the land. They were widows. Their husbands had died. It ain't about Boaz being a wealthy man. It was about food and survival and his protection. Naomi is the true hero of that story, because Ruth was a Gentile. But Naomi, being a Hebrew Israelite woman and older, and the mother-in-law, taught Ruth the attributes of being a good wife material. Boaz, being a righteous man, saw that she knew how to listen and didn't give him no lip, made her a wife, and their offspring later became the lineage of Yahushua himself. So I hope you get the story of Ruth. There's very few Ruths left in the earth. We got Jezebels all over the place. I've seen women posing half naked on Facebook for years. It's a disease, and still ain't got a husband. That's because that's not what we're looking for. If you got to show all your goods openly for everybody to see, including the strangers, and I bet you wouldn't do that if a husband say, hey, go put that outfit on and go cook me something. You give him some lip. But yet you're doing it for free for everybody on social media. Yeah, I'll look, but ain't no way I'd take you to a wife. You still seeking attention from the whole village. A modest woman seeks only the approval of her husband. A lot of men don't have access to her. She don't let hardly no man handle her. She's exclusive to one man. And a lot of you women are nothing like that. But you need to tighten up your game. That's it. That's all. Shabbat Shalom. Just a quick conversation. Peace be with you.